Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we are going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Hawk went to Juvie during the events of Cobra Kai Season 3? So in this timeline, the events of Cobra Kai Season 2 would still happen. Miguel would still return the Medal of Honor. Johnny would still kick Kreese out of Cobra Kai. Moon's party would still happen. Dimitri would still be exposing Hawk, and Hawk would start to get mad. Sam would still kiss Miguel, and those events would stay the same. Tori would still watch from afar, and she would still be mad at Sam. The police would still show up, and Robbie and Sam would still go to Johnny's house. The events would carry on. The school fight would still happen in this timeline. Tori would still fight Sam, and Robbie would still want to break up the fight, but Miguel would intervene and start fighting Robbie. So the school would break out in a fight, and Hawk would still want to get his revenge on Dimitri. The events of the school fight would still carry on, but in this timeline, Dimitri wouldn't fight back, and he would chase Dimitri up the stairwell. Robbie and Miguel would continue fighting, and those events would stay the same. Miguel would still pin Robbie on the ground. He would remember what Johnny told him, and he would show mercy. And much like in the original timeline, Robbie would attack Miguel, and he would kick him off the balcony. Everyone at the school would be shocked. Dimitri and Hawk would stop fighting. Hawk would be filled with rage seeing Miguel on the ground, and he would want to fight Robbie, but Robbie would only want to get away. But Hawk wouldn't let him, and he would start attacking Robbie. With the help of some of the other Cobra Kais, they would overpower Robbie, and Hawk would be showing no mercy, and he would start beating on Robbie. This is when the police would show up. The police would arrest Hawk, Robbie, and Tori, and everyone else would be suspended. Miguel would still go to the hospital in this timeline. The season would still end the same way. Kreese would still come back and retake Cobra Kai, and he would kick Johnny out. So in this timeline, Robbie wouldn't run away, and he would be sent to Juvie along with Hawk, but Tori would be on parole because she was helping her mom. The events of Season 3 would carry on. Since Daniel never turned Robbie in, Daniel would visit Robbie. Robbie would be happy to see Daniel there. Hawk would be forced to get a haircut in Juvie, but he wouldn't lose his confidence. Hawk and Robbie would still be enemies in Juvie, and they wouldn't get along. Sean would still want to mess with Hawk and Robbie, but Hawk would stand up for himself, and he would fight back. He would be the one to fight Sean and his friends. It would be a close match, but Hawk would eventually get Sean's respect, so Hawk would join Sean's friend group, and they would mess with Robbie. And at Cobra Kai, Kreese would want to get some more students, so he would recruit Kyler and his friends a lot earlier in this timeline. And without Hawk there, Kyler and Brooks would end up joining. The events of Season 3 would carry on. Kreese would still try to manipulate Hawk and Robbie in Juvie, but in this timeline, Robbie wouldn't listen to Kreese, but Hawk would be happy to see Kreese there, and he would be excited to go back to Cobra Kai. Dimitri would try visiting Hawk in Juvie, but Hawk wouldn't want to see him. Eventually Hawk would be released, and he would want to go back to Cobra Kai, but he would be surprised to see Kyler and Brooks there. Kreese would say that he needed some champions while he was away. Kyler and Brooks would still make fun of Hawk, so Hawk would be mad, and he wouldn't want to rejoin Cobra Kai. Johnny would still help Miguel recover, and by the time Miguel could walk again, Johnny would still form Eagle Fang. Hawk and Miguel would still be friends, and Miguel would tell him about Eagle Fang. So in this timeline, Hawk would join Eagle Fang, and he would start regrowing his mohawk. The events of Season 3 would carry on. Robbie would get out of Juvie a bit later, and he would go back to Miyagi-Do. With Robbie and Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do wouldn't team up, and there would still be a rivalry between Cobra Kai, Eagle Fang, and Miyagi-Do, but there wouldn't be a house fight in this timeline. And the events of Season 4 would carry on. Kenny would still be picked on by Anthony. Kenny would go to Hawk, so Kenny would join Eagle Fang in this timeline. Season 4 would be pretty uneventful. Terry Silver wouldn't come back in this timeline. Each dojo would go their separate way. Devin would still join Eagle Fang in this timeline. And the night of the All Valley, Hawk would still fight Miguel, but Miguel would still be injured. And in the finals, it would still be Hawk and Robbie. They would each only know one style, but Robbie would end up defeating Hawk in this timeline, and he would be the All Valley champion. And since Terry Silver never came back, Sam would defeat Tori, so Miyagi-Do would end up winning the All Valley tournament. The dojos would continue to operate. Eventually Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang would become friends. Hawk and Dimitri would become friends again. Miguel and Robbie would still fight it out, and they would become friends, but Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do would remain separate dojos. And that is where I'm gonna end this What If. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Hawk went to Juvie during the events of Cobra Kai Season 3? let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.